Hey everybody, it's a Synik25 here, and I'm here with the CognitiveGamer, and we're going to be discussing the January 1st ban list for Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's right, on Friday, December 13th, unlucky December 13th, Friday the 13th, whatever, they're gonna release the ban list. So here are some potentials that we believe need to be banned, that need to come back, so on and so forth. Really, I don't really know. I'm here just to kind of be like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. So how about you? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to start off by talking about some of the things they hit in the last ban list, and I think probably the most notable one would be the Trinity, which is Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. And last format, they ended up banning Heavy Storm and Monster Reborn. So, starting off with Heavy Storm, this is a card that can really dictate the pace of a format, because when Heavy's in play, people play less traps. But when Heavy's banned, then traps kind of make a comeback, and we enter more of a slower format. And that's kind of what the format we're in now. We're in what you would call almost a set 5 format, where people are playing traps and just set everything and just go, because you don't have to worry about Heavy. But the downside of that is people end up not playing as smart with their traps. They just play everything face down and just go. With Heavy, it forces people to play smarter with the traps they have. And I personally think Heavy can come back to 1. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Heavy Storm could definitely come back. I mean, I never really played in the last format where it was fast, and that I think last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I was running Summon Skull, and that was awesome. So, I mean, Heavy Storm was a staple in everybody's, but why would you play that when you had Harpy's Feather Duster?
Oh, God.
So,
Oh, my God, no.
exactly. So I never really played Yu-Gi-Oh with Heavy Storm, but I could imagine what you're saying is that people would have to get smarter with traps, essentially. Mirror Force has a potential to go away, and that would lead to a faster format, because if you get rid of traps, that means you can't stop an opponent's, well, anything that could potentially stop their special summons, their XYZs, their effects, their magic, everything. And personally, I don't think Heavy Storm will come back because of such cards that they did make in Shadow Specters, and, I mean, they made Ghost Tricks.
All right. I don't know. I mean, Heavy's always been one of those cards that has kind of like gotten banned and gotten unbanned. It's just they're notorious for not being sure of what to do with this card, and I still think it's likely could come back at 1. And the other side of the spectrum says it stops people from playing traps altogether, but I kind of disagree with that. Yeah, people play less traps, but they're playing smarter with the few traps they have. It ends up being more skillful. Whether or not Konami will move on that, yeah, I agree with you. It's debatable.
Right. And I think going off of that, we can look at MST, right? I mean, that's essentially a slower Heavy Storm.
I don't know
As in
about
the fact that it
slow.
removes your opponents.
Yeah.
It's
an errant 1-for-1 though. It's pretty much trimming your deck down to 39 for every
right.
MST.
I mean, Heavy Storm has AoE.
Yeah, you can potentially make your opponent go minus off of it, whereas with MST you both go minus. So yeah.
Which, I mean, I personally think MST should be, if they bring back Heavy Storm, maybe bring down MST, just because that eliminates ever using the back row.
The thing is, if Heavy Storm is back, people won't be playing 3 MST. People will only be playing 1 or 2 MST to begin with. So
it's still a lot.
Yeah, but limiting MST in that sense probably won't be doing much for us,
Right.
because people won't be playing many to begin with.
Okay, so
but it's potential. I mean, if Heavy Storm goes to 1, and then you have MST at 2, and then also people just play Night Beam. It's like, the thing is, I don't know. But then we also have Release Restraint Wave, which is...
So, I play a Noble Knight deck, and Release Restraint Wave is amazing with that deck. If you run 3 of these, your opponent pretty much can't set any traps or spells, because you destroy their equipped spells, which then just come back. Essentially, it's a Harpy's Feather Dust, and it's awesome. And I feel it should be limited to 1 or 2. I don't think it needs to be banned. I think 1 is fine, especially in a Noble Knight deck.
It is really good. The reason I don't think it'll get hit, though, is because there's a similar card in Black Wings called Delta Crow, Anthem Reverse. It's similar in some ways to Release Restraint Wave, and they haven't moved on this. However, with Black Whirlwind currently at 3, they might decide, okay, maybe Black Wing Spell and Trap Destruction is a little too strong, and they could limit this. Whether or not they'll do the same to Noble Knights, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, that's certainly possible.
I mean, Noble Knights are not top tiering right now, so I think that's the other thing as well. Usually decks that become top tier are usually the ones that get focused upon. I think Noble Knight has the potential to be tier 1 in maybe, say, a couple more formats.
Right.
But as it is right now, they're still a little finicky and not consistent enough to be amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. A little bit slow too, but
hey now, let's not make fun of the Noble Knights.
Moving into Monster Reborn now.
Yeah, why did that get banned?
It's just really good. You can
Yeah, it
you
is.
can reborn anything. It doesn't have to. It's not even limited to your graveyard. And if you reborn the right card, you can go plus so much. It's. I kind of agree. I think Monster Reborn should stay banned.
Okay. I never played the old format, so whatever. Yeah, I remember playing those back when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out, and you would reborn their blue eyes onto your field.
Okay, you're talking about things like.
Oh my god, that was
Literally
so amazing! No,
decades
that was
ago.
amazing! The fact that they're like, this is the strongest monster in the game, and you're like, mine.
Yeah, and it's also really good with graveyard centric decks, which are most of them at this point. Then you have Dark Hole, which I think is honestly fine at 1.
Yeah.
I don't think Konami's really should change anything with Dark Hole. That's fine. Now moving into this whole Dragon Ruler theme, which
Fuck dragons.
Dragons, something still needs to be done with Dragons. They got hit really hard last format, and they're still top tier. I mean, I've never seen a deck that pretty much half the archetype gets banned, and they're still topping. Like, this deck is incredible. Still more needs to be done with it. I think Gold Sark is fine at 1. Dragon's Ravine, even if it gets limited, I don't think it'll solve the problem.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, what you're explaining was it's not really the dragons that need to be hit; it's the cards surrounding the dragons. So,
So
Dragon Ravine is definitely a big one, especially from your deck to your hand. And it changed when they got rid of the baby dragons. I assume I never played, but that's because you could add them to your hand, and then from your hand you just special summon them from the deck. I assume, right? Is that how that worked?
Pretty much.
So that's crazy. That's crazy powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Ravine is still crazy, but I feel because it is a field, it's a field card.
Now, I think these are the cards that really should get hit. Cards of Consonance and Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars. They essentially have 6 Pot of Greeds in their deck. It's insane.
Pot of Greed should come back.
No, see, like, literally, draw 2 cards. I mean, it's obviously not quite as good as Pot of Greed. Obviously not this one, but Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars is better than Pot of Greed, and it's at 3. Because all they have to do is banish one of their dragons, and the dragon's effect activates, which replenishes from their deck to their hand. This card is better than Pot of Greed, and it's at 3. No. My opinion, Sacred Sword to 7 Stars
Just banned.
I think it should be banned, but I will be happy if it gets to 1. Same with Cards of Consonance, at 1.
You know, I hate dragons. I think they're a pretty linear and cheap deck. It's not linear, though. It is and it isn't. I just don't like them. I try to avoid them like the plague. And I feel like that's a huge problem for Konami because people are getting turned off by a deck that is overpowered. But at the same time, it's one of the best decks in the game. How many tournaments have been won with Dragon Rulers? Yeah. All of them in the last year or 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would Konami hinder the best, I guess, to even it out, or just to appease us who don't like to be.
I don't know.
Let's play the best deck in the game.
I don't know if Konami really knew what they were getting into when they made Dragons, but they really dug themselves into a hole and they're trying to get out. And unfortunately, the only way I think they're going to get out of it is by hitting these cards that are supporting them.
I think also the dragons need to be limited too a little bit, right?
I know a lot of people are saying that they should all be limited to 2. I don't think that's solving the problem. Yeah, it'll hit them and it'll stop them from how long lasting the deck can be, but they're still going to be able to spam the board as quickly as they ever have.
Yeah, but if you limit to 2, I mean, essentially that's 2 less Big Eyes or 2 less Draco Sacks.
It makes them burn out quicker, but with the amount of special summoning power they have, it almost doesn't matter because they can just spam the field and the game's going to be over. But Return from a Different Dimension, this needs to get banned. Like, I think most people can agree that this card at this point is too broken for Dragon Rulers. It's not even fair. You can always pay the cost, and if you have 6 of them banished, you just spam your field with dragons, you XZ with them, and holy crap. So, Return from a Different Dimension needs to get banned. As for the dragons themselves, like you said, potentially limit them all to 2.
Burn them all. Just get rid of it.
Blaster goes to 2.
Okay.
Redox goes to 2.
Okay.
These 2 are fine. 10%
yeah,
titles.
You don't see those as much.
Yeah, Redox is that's the Monster Reborn engine of the deck.
It's the MVP.
Yeah, that and Blaster. Blaster and Redox are really the central cards in Dragon Rulers. If anything's going to get banned within the dragons themselves, I think, not banned, but limited or semi-limited, should be Blaster and Redox. But still, the thing is, let's say that did happen. Let's say even worse, they all go to 2.
Okay.
But they still have these cards. They're still going to be as fast as ever. Yeah, they'll burn out quicker, but people are going to adapt.
I completely agree.
People are going to make the deck more of an OTK variant.
Right. I mean, the fact that they're level 7s and you can make two of the best XYZ monsters in the entire game with them. Just makes them even more of an incredible deck.
Yeah, so that's Dragon Rulers. So my final say is Cards of Consonance, Sacred Sword of the Seven, I think should at the very least both be at 1.
Yeah.
Return should be banned. Everything else is definitely fine. What do you think? What's your final?
I agree, or just get rid of them.
Or just get rid of them completely.
No, they can't get rid of them completely. I think, yeah, you're right. These 2 cards are completely fine. Redox needs to get limited.
Okay.
Bringing it down to 2. Blaster's fine at 2.
Okay.
And that one did get reprinted in a tin, so more people can actually use it. And the other thing about dragons is they can go well in any deck.
Yeah.
So I feel like to ban them is a little bit rough because they do work in so many different decks.
I can never see Konami banning. They would at that point
they would
ban
never
an entire archetype. You know?
Right.
That's intense.
Yeah, they would never do that.
Yeah, but Stratos. So
no, this is just a personal wish list for you.
Oh yeah, no. I used to play Heroes like religiously back in the day. I always liked the deck, and Stratos is like. I mean, there was a time when Stratos was at 3 and it was broken, and I agree it should have went down to 1. But Stratos was fine at 1, and Stratos really made Heroes. And when they banned the Stratos, it just didn't make any sense. Heroes weren't even doing anything last form. They're like, oh fuck it, let's ban Stratos now. Why? No. Without Stratos, Heroes are no longer a deck. No one is playing. I have not seen one legit hero player in this format.
I think we saw one and they lost horribly.
Yeah, because Heroes aren't even a deck anymore. Konami, you just fucked Heroes.
Bring back Heroes.
Yeah, no.
It's a cheap deck too. I think what you do, Konami, you repackage Heroes, you bring back Stratos, you put them in like a construct deck that people can just buy, and people will start playing Heroes all over the place. I think it's a good beginner deck. Yeah, honestly.
I don't know. I was really salty when they banned Stratos because Heroes weren't even doing that well last format. It was all dragons, and all of a sudden Stratos gets banned, and
he's just too good. That's why
he's not that good. Even with Stratos, Heroes were never top tiering. No. Even in their prime, they were not top tiering. And I guess they figured, oh, we'll bring more searchers back, and then we'll ban Stratos. But it's not helping because you can keep repeatedly using Stratos as effect, and that's what made Heroes Heroes. So, I don't know. Stratos back at 1. What do you think? Final say.
Sure, if we'll make you happy, whatever.
Great. Okay. Gladiator Beast Bestiari. Gladiator Beast.
I have no idea what this is. I've never seen this card before.
I know. Gladiator Beast back in like 09, 2010. They used to be pretty actually top tier deck, and they were topping for a while.
Sure.
And that's when Bestiari went down to 1 because whenever this card is, whenever it's special summoned from the deck via Gladiator Beast effect, you could, it's like an MST to your opponent's field. And then you can also fuse it for its bigger version, which essentially is 2 MSTs in 1, which is pretty strong, I agree. And back in the day, that was intense. But now, it's not as good. I think Bestiar can at least go to 2. One more last point.
Okay.
And this is why I think Bestiar is going to come back to 2.
Okay.
Because they just released a Gladiator Beast support.
Wait.
It's a new fusion monster.
Really?
You haven't seen it, but
no.
We don't even know what it does yet. But Konami has a trend that when we're releasing support for a new archetype to, bring back some of the cards that were limited before, so it starts seeing more play. So that's one of the reasons I think Bestiary will be going back up.
Interesting.
Support, yeah. So, right, moving on to Birdman. Yeah, Birdman was a card that got hit last format. It used to be at 2, now it's at 1. And it was just another one of those random-ass limits that just make no sense. I think Birdman should be back at 2. I don't think it's... Will Birdman at 2 break the game? Will it break the game?
I have no idea.
It won't.
Okay, it won't. BLS, a card I recognize. Finally.
Yeah. So
what's wrong with BLS?
BLS
I like him at 1.
Yeah, he's been banned for a while because he's BLS. He's just really good.
And, he's amazing.
Yeah, and there's tons of light and dark, so you can get him out pretty easily with many decks.
So do you think he's gonna be banned again?
No.
Okay.
Tour Guide.
Oh my god. Okay.
What?
What's wrong with Tour Guide? Oh, you want to bring him back up to 3? She.
Yeah, because back when Tour Guide initially came out, and back when Sangan was legal, yeah, it was pretty broken. There was a lot of things you could do with it. It was like a free XZ monster, and you'd plus off Sangan. That was great. But now that Sangan's banned, and there's so many better decks out there, like, what is Tour Guide going to do? It's going to make Zen Mains. It's going to make Acid Gold. Against dragons? Like, they're going to laugh at you like, oh, that's cute. So, Sangan's really... I mean, Tour Guide's not really doing much, especially with Sangan banned. I think it should go back up to 3.
Sure. I like Tour Guide. Tour Guide's cool.
Yeah, I can see it helping Dark Worlds, and do we want Dark World help?
No.
Maybe not, but still, in a general thumb, I think Tour Guide is fine at 3.
Pretty much the only deck everybody should play are the decks I play, and that's Boxers.
Right, God. Moving on to Rescue Rabbit. This is another card that got hit last
format. Look, it's so cute!
I know, he used to be at 2, and he was fine at 2, and So people used to play what's called Dino Rabbit, where they would run 2 rabbit and they'd have a bunch of dinosaurs, and it was a pretty good deck. And
Okay.
now that rabbit's at 1, it kind of made that deck kind of irrelevant. Um,
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I know,
Yeah.
but I think rabbit's fine at 2. Rabbit was not breaking the game. There's a few decks that can benefit from it, and the fact that there aren't that many decks that can benefit from it suggests that why is it at 1?
Yeah, what? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it should be at 2.
Okay.
Thunder King. Oh my god, I was so pissed when they hit Thunder King.
Why?
It was at 2 before, and Thunder King is just such a balanced card. Thunder King balances this game.
You mean slows it down?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I mean by balancing this game, because it's too fast. Thunder King just solves problems in this game.
It comes in there and just solves everything.
This one card, solves problems. It stops people from adding cards in their deck to their hand and just getting so many pluses. It stops that special summon, which is so prevalent in this game. It's just Thunder King needs to be at 2. It fixes this game, in my opinion.
Sure. JD, Judgment Dragon.
Yes, Judgment Dragon.
I hate this card. The amount of times that I've lost, like, FTK, OTK from Judgment Dragon, pretty much that's the go-to play for Lightsworn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel you won't be handicapping Lightsworn by bringing him to 1. I'm not saying ban it, but 1. But the fact that each one can have 3,000, you can get out 3 of those, and then sack everything on the field.
I can't.
And when?
I can't see Judgment Dragon at 1.
But
Like,
what's wrong with that at 1? It's totally fine at 1.
okay, maybe like just giving you the benefit of the doubt. Just
Okay.
assuming you're right. Is it feasible? No. And the reason I say that is with all the Lightsworn support that just came out, why would Konami put Judgment Dragon at 1?
Because they're giving it other support. Maybe they thought we were gonna bring down Judgment Dragon, but here's some extra support.
I don't think so.
To make up for
They
it.
just made a card that searches out Judgment Dragon. I think they want to keep the whole hype with Judgment Dragon going.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it'll go to 2.
Okay.
And I think it would be still fine at 2.
I don't like Lightsworn. I don't know if you could tell. I'm
I
very
know.
vitriolic against
See,
them.
that's why you need things like Thunder King, which stop it. All right, so
Okay.
Gear
Gurgia Armor.
So Geargias have been getting a lot of support, and it's becoming a really good deck. And if there's any card in Geargias that might get hit, it's Armor, because Armor is just, you can get so many pluses off Armor, and the fact it can flip itself face down again is just intense. You know, if your opponent can't get over it or you have protection to protect it, the amount of pluses you can get off Armor is pretty intense. I think Geargia Armor, I think should go to 2.
It's a pretty good card.
It is a good card. It can infinitely search your deck if you play it right. I mean, granted, chances of you infinitely searching your deck are very low, but the potential's there.
Right.
That's intense.
Yeah. Maybe limit it. But at the same time,
Me too.
they're also getting a lot of support there, so why would they limit?
And-
Keep the hype up.
Yeah, I know. I just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know I'm mocking you.
they're probably not going to, but I think it should go to 2. But moving on.
Okay.
So Gores and Trag.
I
I put these 2 in a category because they're both hand traps and they summon to the field.
Okay.
Gores has been at 1 since Jesus was born. And,
okay. Since
I-
Jesus was born.
The thing is, no one is playing Gores anymore. It's just people are playing other kinds of hand traps, and Gores at 2 I don't think would break the game. I think Gores should come back to 2. I think it'd be fine.
Okay. Or they just leave it to the wayside like they do with so many other cards.
Yeah, just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Trag, on the other hand, I think Trag is fine at 2.
Yeah.
But not many people are playing Trag either.
He's a really good card, though.
Yeah, but no one's playing it. It's not broken.
Yeah.
But I see it as better. I actually see it as better than Gores, personally.
What, Trag?
Because it can manipulate levels, you can XZ off of it, and that's just really cool.
Right.
Gores, on the other hand, all it does is just summon a token, but people play around that.
Right. I mean, it is
How-
also a level 7.
That's what I was just thinking, and that might be why they're keeping it at 1.
Right. I mean, if you get 2 of those out, that's an instant
Draco Sack.
Draco Sack or Big Eye.
Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe 1 and 2 is fine.
Yeah.
Lone Fire has been at 1 for a little
What
while.
is this?
It helps plants, but the thing is, without Lone Fire at least 2, plants really aren't that good.
Yeah, but plants are coming back because they're making that new archetype that are all
Shinras?
plants.
Yeah, and that's a good point. They might want to promote the deck, and we might see Lone Fire back at 2.
Okay.
And I will totally dig it. Dandelion, also very plant-centric. They might even bring this back up to 2.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I guess. Shinra's I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So wind-ups.
Yeah, wind-ups, that used to be the deck back in the day, and that's when Magician got banned. I mean, to limit it to 1. But at this point, what are wind-ups doing now? They're doing
They're
nothing.
making Zen mains in everybody else's deck.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So
Yeah.
would Magician at 2 or even 3? Oh. Let's go back to Magician.
Okay.
Back at 2. What do you think?
Sure.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Next.
All right, next. We're not talking about Morphing Jar. So.
Morphing Jar is the shit! It should be back up to 5!
Oh, no.
Unlimited Morphing Jars. I want a Morphing Jar deck.
Yeah, no. Neospatian Grand Mole, on the other hand, I think
I still don't know what that is.
it's like a compulse, but you have to attack.
Got it.
And yeah, it's good, but things you have to waste your normal summon on it, and then it goes back to your hand, so your field's empty. It's just, I think it'd be fine at 2. It's a slow card
Why did they ever limit that?
because it was pretty good back in the day.
Got
It
it.
would stop so many plays. There's some people saying Grunik's gonna get hit. I don't think so. I think it's fine.
Yep.
Final in the monster count, we have Evil Storm Kerkion and Constellar Sombre.
And Stellars need to get limited.
No.
Yes.
Some people are saying that
Just
these
because you
two-
play them does not mean that they shouldn't get limited.
Some people are saying Sombre and Kerkion should go to 2, and if it does, wouldn't even hurt the deck that much. It'd be a little annoying, but I wouldn't care that much.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna hit it.
Okay.
Do you think so?
Probably.
Okay.
Just to piss you off.
Moving into spells.
All right.
Black Whirlwind.
Went up to 3.
Yeah, this was such a controversial move. Like, they just moved the card that was banned and brought it to 3.
Do you agree with it?
No.
No?
I think it should be a 2.
Yeah, I think 2's fine.
Yeah.
Man, but Black Wings, are they still top tiering?
No.
No?
Even with Black Whirlwind at 3, they're not. I mean, they're being played now, which is cool, but they've never really. They used to be top tier. Back in the day, Black Wings were shit, and they had their day. But even with Black Whirlwind at 3, it's not a huge deal, but I still think Black Whirlwind at 3 is pretty. It's much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Card destruction?
That needs to stay banned.
Okay, I don't think so.
Why?
Because card destruction was an amazing way. I don't know, I really like card destruction.
Look at you, Team Dark World.
I know. Well, I mean, it sped up the game a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, but it also gave Dark World players such a huge advantage. It was kind of cheap. It's kind of like drag down. It's like, so Dark World players have it, they set everything they don't want to be discarded, and they leave everything they want to be discarded in their hand, and they card destruction, then you're left, well, shit. You know?
I don't know. Turn 1 card destruction is probably one of my favorite moves.
All right, well, for every other deck aside from Dark World, yeah, it might be a little bit more balanced.
I'm also, I'm very nostalgic for the old cards. So it almost hurts me not to be playing those anymore.
The only argument I can make for it at 1 would be the fact that it could also it has the potential to help you as well. So if you have a bad hand, your opponent plays card destruction, you get a better hand. So great, it could potentially help you, but I don't know, maybe 1. I would say 1.
Oh, I'm not saying 3 of those, unless you bring back Morphing.
Yeah, oh god. But yeah, I mean, same thing with Drag Down. It's like almost like a mini card destruction in the sense that they set all the cards they don't want to get destroyed, and then they leave everything that they want to get destroyed. So Dark World's no bueno. I think this should go to 2.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't like Dark World, apparently.
What else are we gonna talk about?
The theme of this. It was that card.
World Tribute. Bad.
We really don't like Dark Worlds.
No, this isn't Dark World.
I mean,
This is Gravekeepers.
Gravekeepers.
It's so broken.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's the same concept though. It's like they play everything they don't want to get discarded, and they leave everything that they want to get discarded, and you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, it's limited to once. It only can happen once. But I mean, again,
That
with such a
changes
fast
games.
game, that would win you the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So moving into the defensive traps of the format, we have our Bottomless, we have our Torrential Tribute, which isn't on here, and we have Compulse. Those are all the main traps that are at 1. Now, when Konami did that and they brought Bottomless at 1, Compulse down to 1, and Torrential at 1, I think Bottomless personally should go back to 2. I think Compulse is fine at 1. I think Torrential's fine at 1, but Bottomless, I bring it to 2.
Whatever.
What, you don't care? It's like, fuck it.
You don't see it very often. You always see somebody running at least 1, but then you have Dimensional Prison, you have Normal Trap Hole. I mean, there's so many other different types of cards.
Yeah, I guess. You want to hear a funny joke with Bottomless Trap Hole?
Sure.
So the monster on the artwork can't even be Bottomless Trap Hole. It's below 1500. Yeah, it's kind of ironic.
That's funny.
Fiendish Chain, I know you were arguing that this should be limited. They're semi-limited.
Semi-limited to 2, just because it's really good and everybody's running it now.
If they do that, I want Bottomless at 2.
Okay, fine. Whatever. It's not like we're actually at Konami and we're fighting for cards.
I know. I disagree with you. I think it's fine at 3.
Yeah,
Because the thing, unlike Bottomless Trap Hole,
Mm-hmm.
if you get Fiendish Chained, you can still Synchro, you can still XZ with it.
Right.
You can still utilize the monster in some way. And at the very least, if it's a big beater, it's still defense for you.
Right.
So I think it's fine at 3.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, essentially it's a trap version of an effective Eiler, but it's forever instead of just one turn, which would be why I think it would get limited.
Yeah, Mirror Force, you think it's fine at 2?
Yeah, I think Mirror Force is fine at 2.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's solid at 2. Now, going to the last traps that are defensive, Solemn, I think, can go back to 1.
Okay. But, I mean, you were making a point of half your life points.
Right.
Because you can always make that point.
Yeah, you can.
Amen. So.
But still, I think it was fine at 1. Like, I played in the format with it at 1. And it was annoying, especially with Solemn. But that was when, like, last format, we had Judgment at 1 and Warning at 2. And that was rough. But if you keep Solemn at 1 and you bring Judgment to 1, that's still balanced. Just keep Solemn Warning at 1 and bring this back up to 1, and it's not quite as broken.
I like the guy that looks like Moses.
I know, it's awesome. Now, moving on to more troll cards. So, this format, they brought Macro to 1, and they brought D-Fisher to 1.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to figure out exactly why they did that. I guess they don't like cards that prevent you from utilizing your graveyard. And with how many graveyard-centric decks there are out there, I can see how this would just stop archetypes in their tracks.
Right.
So I think Konami is actually kind of regretting making these, and they're limiting them for a reason. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this pretty much locks down anybody who uses their grave.
Both of them do. And honestly, people are just siding them. I think they're fine at 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great side card, especially if you play it. But then again, you're locking people down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can completely agree with any card that locks out a complete archetype. I mean, let's look at Vanity's Emptiness. I mean,
this is manageable, though.
What? If you don't have an MST or Heavy Storm?
But get it. If your opponent can't also activate things either, because the second they activate a trap or something, then this card will leave. So
right.
I can see it at 2. I can't see it at 1 or banned.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy. It goes away pretty quickly. But essentially, it's a solemn, it's a solemn warning without paying a cost.
Yeah, but I can see it at 2. I can see it at 2.
Okay.
I don't think I would want to see it at 1. What do you think?
I think it'd be fine at 1.
Okay, all right. I respect that. Before we move on to 6th Sense, let's just finish up with the whole side deck brigade here with Skill Drain.
Okay.
This card can just... This card, I think, should definitely be at 1.
Okay, why?
Now, this shuts down archetypes.
Okay, why?
Because who's playing normal monsters like they are anymore?
That's what I've been telling you! You totally give me shit for that just like 2 seconds ago.
That's also the same argument that, like, okay, not many decks are playing as many normal monsters, Rapid can go to 2.
Okay.
That's fine. Skill Drain, yeah, it's bad.
Right.
I think you should go to 1.
Yeah, this completely shuts down people.
Yeah, keep it as just a 1 side deck card that people have.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, 6 Sense.
I think...
to 3.
To 3. Yeah, we should have unlimited 6 Sense.
Yep. I think that'd be fine.
I think so too.
Okay. 6 Sense at 3, everybody. No, 6 Sense needs to get banned.
Why? Why does it need to get banned? I think it's a fine card.
No, because your opponent has the potential to go +5.
Okay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And the thing is, certain decks don't even care if their cards get milled. They're like, oh, great, it got milled instead of drawing. Now I can utilize the shit in my grave like Dragon Rulers can. So it's too good in some decks. It's just, I don't get why Konami makes cards like this.
Because they're crazy?
They're crazy. 6 Sense needs to get banned.
Okay.
Now, finishing off here with these Fusion Synchro and XP.
God, why is Thousand Eye restrict here?
I can totally see him at 1.
Oh, whatever.
Like, totally.
Nobody cares. Nobody's ever going to play that card.
Nah, you'd be surprised. There's some lockdown decks with this.
Ugh.
I'd like to see it back. I think
Okay.
it's a fun time.
Fine. No.
I
hate that card.
Trish? Oh, this was so troll back last format.
I have no idea.
So, I think I told you this story. The OCG made it at 1.
Okay.
And then everyone here in America was like, holy crap, Trish is coming back to 1. And everyone started buying Trishulas. And then TCG was like, no, we're going to leave it banned. And everyone, wasted their money buying Trish when it never got unbanned. But I think it's time. I don't think this is that bad. I know Infernities were really pulling shenanigans with it. It's fine. I think it'd be okay at 1.
You can activate this effect to remove from play up to 1 card from each of your opponent's hand field. 1 of each?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah. No! That card should be banned! That's crazy!
Well, that's why it currently is banned, but I think it'd still be okay at 1.
That's still insane.
Because you can only use its effect once per duel, unless you can somehow get it back through.
Oh, it's only once per duel?
Well, no, but like usually it's like it's on the field and it goes to the grave, and its effect only activates when it's synchro summoned. So unless you pull it back to your extra deck, then do it again.
Okay, I guess, but at the same time, that could be an entire person's field, like, gone instantly. Their hand, their field, and their graveyard? That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
You can ruin an entire game by playing out Trish. Hey, you know your Draco Sack that you only have one of? Gone. Hey, you know that card in your hand that you think's gonna save you? Gone. You know that card in your graveyard that you can somehow reborn? Gone.
Bear in
No.
mind, though, that it is still random.
Only the one in the hand? If your opponent only has one card in their hand, that's not random.
If they have one card in their hand, they're probably going to lose anyway.
Oh my god, that's not the point I'm trying to make here.
I get it. Trish is a good card, and that's why it's currently banned, but I think it'd be fine at 1.
Ugh.
There's better Synchro and XE monsters than Trish, like Big Eye.
Which should be limited. There should be one Big Eye.
Exactly. Big Eye at 1.
Yeah, Big Eye at 1, because that card's ridiculous. Though they just come out with the reprint of Big Eye, so I think the way they're dealing with it is that everybody can now buy a Big Eye.
Mm-hmm. Draco Sack, I think, is fine.
No, it's not.
Draco Sack is fine. It's a balanced card in an unbalanced deck.
Okay,
Yes.
so limit it.
I think if you make Dragon Rulers better, this card will be
I mean,
perfectly
Dragon Ruler's more banned.
more balanced.
Okay.
So it's being played in things like Harpies that are making 7s, and it's fine. Harpies are good, but they're not broken. It's being played in
Kirby's a little broken.
they're a little broken. What else is playing 7s?
Mecha Phantom.
Yeah, but Mecha Phantoms as a pure archetype aren't that great. It's not broken. It's not breaking any games.
Curry.
Yeah, but like I know the deck, it runs out of steam.
Gurgia.
Not as much.
Okay.
It's fine. Draco Sack is fine.
Nope. It should be
This is
limited.
the problem.
Yeah, I think the other problem is look at how expensive these cards are. For $70 is the high. This one is $83. Not a normal human being cannot drop that type of money to get these cards.
I did.
I know you did, but you're not a normal human being. You're insane. With this card getting a reprint, that value is going to go down, which means more people will have access to the card, which I think is a fine temporary solution. And then I think in another year, you'll see this card either getting banned or limited.
Yeah.
But Draco Sack, it's $84 as a high.
What does that have to do with it being at 2?
The fact that nobody can freaking buy this card.
That
If you limit it, though, and if somebody has 3 Draco Sacks, that's essentially buying their way to victory, which, again, I don't really agree with. But then again, this is a card game, and maybe that's part of the whole thing.
Okay, so from a gameplay standpoint,
I still think 2.
I don't think Draco Sack at 2 is...
I think it's fine where it is.
Okay.
Because nobody will run 3 Draco Sacks.
Alright, I think it's fine.
It's still a crazy OP card.
Now moving on to the anti-meta decks of the format, Evil Swarm and Constellars.
Okay.
Evil Swarms, Ophion, people are thinking Ophion was going to get hit at one point, especially for this format. People like Ophion getting hit. But he didn't get hit, he was fine. And honestly, I think he is fine at 3.
I haven't had much experience with him.
I know he did because he doesn't bother boxers. Like,
Okay.
like you're playing against Ophion and they make Ophion. You're
How
like,
about
oh, that's
Ghost
cool.
Tricks?
Doesn't even bother Ghost Tricks.
No.
So there are some decks that just don't care about Ophion. Like
Yeah.
Constellars, like the deck I play, just doesn't care about Ophion. And that's why I think he's still at 3, because Evil Swarms are only as good as their matchup.
Right.
If you're playing against an archetype that doesn't care about Ophion, they're like, oh, look, it's Ophion, that's cute. So they just don't care.
Right.
And that's why I think he's fine at 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, finally, into Constellars, Pallades is fine at
1.
3. No.
1.
No.
You should go to 1.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's a quick play compulse on any card on the field. But
Yeah. Exactly. He's a quick play compulsory because you can do it on anybody's turn and it's any card on the field. Are you kidding me?
it's good, but
That's amazing.
what do you say?
Limited to 1.
No. M7's already at 1.
Yeah.
Okay, lead Pallades.
You still have Beehive. You love Beehive.
Beehive is pretty good. Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
If they're going to do anything with it, they either have to leave it alone or put it at 1. Because if they put it at 2, no one's going to give a shit because most Constellar players only play 2.
Right.
So it's either 1 or 3, and I think it's fine at 3.
Okay. If they leave it at 3, I think some of the support cards that Constellars do run will be limited.
And the thing is, there are still ways to deal with Pallades. I mean, it could be Effect Violard, it could be Dark Hold.
That could be said about any card.
It could be, yeah, Trap, Stop It, Solemn, anything, really.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's OP. That could be said about Trish, but it's banned.
No. Well, true, in a sense.
What?
I think
Big
Palladius
Eye
is
could
fine.
take any monster on the field, and
Okay.
that's at 3. Like,
Okay, so you're arguing this should be at 1, and this should be at 1. Is Palladius as good as Big Eye?
I don't think you can compare it like that.
No, dude. This is stealing cards, and this is just returning them to your hand.
But it's any card.
And you like most of the time you can still use the card that got returned. It's
I honestly don't think Constellars will get hit.
I don't think so either. All this does all it really is doing is slowing the game down.
They're not top tiering. They're not getting as much attention. And that's what Konami seems to look at, are the decks that most people are trying to play.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. I think Constellars are fine.
Yeah, and M7 honestly only got limited because of other decks that were utilizing it. They were just too good. Constellar M7 is good in Constellars, but it's actually a lot better in other decks. One, it's fine. It's fine. Just don't hit Palladius, please.
You heard it here, folks. Don't hit Constellars.
That's right. Okay.
All right. So let's wrap this up.
Yeah, so
We'll have a reaction video.
exactly. So this was our Banlist prediction video on the January 1st ban list,
Which will be announced this Friday.
the 13th.
Yes. Do
So
we have a time?
I don't know.
Okay, who cares? I'm the Cognitive Gamer. You can follow me at Twitter at Cognitive Gamer. Please check out our other videos.
And I'm Synik25. You can find me on YouTube. Good times.
You don't have anything else?
Nope.
You don't have like a Twitter?
No, don't follow. Just
You
watch my
You
videos.
should probably get a Twitter.
Just watch the videos. They're good.
What is this? Like the old Western times?
Exactly.
Get a Twitter.
I don't need one.
Get a Twitter.
No.
Get.
We're signing off. Have a good day, everybody.
You should get a Twitter.